So did you ever get something and comes in the shop for repair and you just sit there and you look at it and you say to yourself, I just want to cry. So this is one of those jobs that has come into my shop, and apparently it came in about 6 months ago and had a little damage to it, and I think I quoted a decent price to go ahead and fix it. It had a little water damage. It needed to be dried out, and had a little bit of rust removal that needed to be done. Well, my client quoted his customer, and I guess the customer said he didn't have the money to get it fixed, and decided to take it somewhere else to get a secondary price. I'm not sure what, but we could have fixed it relatively quick and relatively inexpensively at the time. So the watch went somewhere and came back looking like this. So hang on, let's take a look at this. I'm gonna pop the cover off here. Okay, so we're going to get the cover off of this. And no, guys, this watch doesn't need gloves to handle. Let's get this cover off. Okay, are we ready? We ready for this? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's just horrendous. So this watch came in, like I said, a long time ago, and it had a little bit of rust on it, not much. Nothing that would have stopped it from being serviced and cleaned, put back into operation, and a happy camper for a good long time. At the time, it needed gaskets, and it needed a full service. Like I said, a little bit of rust removal. Apparently, I'll just see if I can get the camera in here, get this focused. Apparently, this gentleman took his watch someplace, and somebody had the brilliant idea of putting in what looks like rust removal chemical or rust remover, and let it sit there and cake. And it turned into a sludge that apparently has turned into like super glue, because I'm pulling like flakes of dried glue out of this movement. Plus, most of the parts have been rotted away by the rust remover. Now, granted, if you had sent this watch to Rolex at the time, they probably would have charged. It's being obviously not a warranty option for that, but at the time, it probably would have cost about $2,000 to have Rolex service this watch. We were doing it for significantly less than that, and we could have guaranteed that it would have been fine. However, with this kind of damage in there, now this gentleman is looking at least a $5,000 movement to replace this. It's a 3135 day chest, and it's pretty shot. I'm going to try to get some pictures in here, have you take a look at it. There's no way that I can get in there now and clean this watch out. It's gone. You can see, and from the pictures that I'm going to take, you'll see that it's just in really rough shape. Let's see if I can get a good shot with this camera. Oh, it's just horrid. So I don't know. We're gonna take some options here and take a look. I'm just gonna get some close-ups of this with this camera here, and if I zoom in here, you can see the damage that's been done from this. I mean, just take a look at that. I'm gonna zoom in here on the hairspring and just take a look at that. The hairspring is now mangled. I mean, these parts, the chemicals in rust remover is just horrid. It just destroys the tolerances of all the parts. It disintegrates some of the parts. And I don't know what to tell this customer anymore. But, that being said, we've got an issue that, again, I can't do this. It just makes me want to cry that somebody would do such damage to a watch. The rotor system, I thought, well, it was seized up and it looked like it had glue all over it. I don't want to lose the screws. So let me pull this out here. So I was going to see if maybe I could get some maybe mineral spirits or something that to that effect that would get some of that gunk out of there. Oh, it's just terrible. But no, it's pretty seized up. Those gears are all they're cooked. There's no way that I can do that now. I'm going to take a picture of this so you can see what this looks like. You know, I don't know if somebody did this on purpose to this guy or whatever. But yeah, that's not something that anybody should let walk out their door. Again, you know, let this be a warning to you. If you get your watch wet, get it to a service place as quick as possible. Have them dry it out. At least that's going to mitigate any further rust. Because if you don't, you're going to end up with this disastrous monster that can't be serviced. It's just not capable of being repaired anymore. I'll pull this little piece out here. The screw came out here. I want to get that back in there. Oh, yeah, so let's take a look. That rotor bearing is not looking too bad. Some of that rust there on the rotor could be mitigated. Just grab a picture of this. And you can see that, you know, if we take a good deep dive into this, this is just not, you know, exactly what you're going to run into when you want to fix a watch. And I get this guy wanted to save some money, and maybe he did this himself, but if he took this someplace and they actually put rust remover in there or whatever the hell they put in there, shame on them. So let this be a lesson to all of you. Don't let this happen to you. Again, your watch gets wet, take it someplace, dry it off. A bag of rice isn't going to help. You got to get the watch opened up, dried out, and get all those parts in there cleaned. Because especially chlorine or salt water, that movement will be shot before you know it. Keep that in mind, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.